What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. We got some major stuff to discuss here with you guys here in this video. Also, we're giving away cash to some of our viewers here. If you can guess the answer to a trivia question, you could win money directly from us. And I'll give you a trivia question here in this video and sometime here later in the video. So make sure to watch all the way to the end and you could win money directly from me. Yeah, so also thank you so much for liking and sharing these videos. Very much appreciated. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe down below as well. All right, here we go. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to be coming up here on that time yet again where the debt limit is going to be having to be passed yet again. Yeah, that's right. And not only will this affect a lot of different things here, but this one coming around this time will actually have even more potential side effects as well. Yeah, the debt limit or the debt ceiling is a very, very major thing for our country because there's multiple different things. Number one, if they don't pass it, it basically means that the country runs out of credit and goes into default. So it kind of means that the US government will not be able to pay its bills or pay the interest on the debt that it owes, which is like $31 trillion, somewhere in that range. It literally changes by the second. Okay. And every year or two, at this point, it's about every year, the government, Congress, which is at this point always Republicans and Democrats, have to come together to pass a bill similar to a government shutdown situation. And it's kind of a game, it's like a high speed game of chicken. And it's turned into a really bad thing, but it's much worse than a government shutdown. We've had government shutdowns before, and those are bad because millions of people temporarily lose their jobs, and it turns into like just a chaotic situation. If a government default happens, it's much worse. We could actually see a collapse of the financial system here in the United States. In fact, the last time we even got close to it, the US government's credit rating got downgraded for like basically the first time ever. So the US government, which had a perfect, triple A credit rating, actually got downgraded by the credit agencies just because we were getting close to the debt limit. Also, if we do actually have a default, just because Republicans and Democrats can't agree to actually pass it on time, which we got really close to last time, if that actually happens, then again, if this happens, things like Social Security and anything that the government has to actually pay out could be late or not even go out because the government would default and would physically run out of money, at least temporarily. And President Biden and Senator Bernie Sanders have actually gone on record and actually said this when they were talking about this last time around. I literally had video of them talking about this. In fact, here's what they're saying now. We're getting close to this happening again here, and here's what they're already saying. The Treasury Department is saying failing to increase the debt limit would have catastrophic economic consequences. It would cause the government to default on its legal obligations. The debt limit does not authorize new spending commitments. It simply allows the government to finance existing legal obligations that Congress and presidents of both parties have made in the past. In turn, the federal government would have to at least temporarily default on many of its obligations, And you can see it right here. This is actually from Yahoo News, from Social Security payments and salaries from federal civilian employees and the military to veterans benefits and utility bills, among other things, according to the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. So this is the problem: is that if the government actually defaults, it basically means that their checking accounts run dry, and they can't print new money if the debt limit is reached. And you could see this right here. It's kind of a problem. Now, the problem is that just the way the US government is and has been for many, many years, that the US government runs a deficit and has for almost as long as we can remember. Whether it's a Republican or a Democratic president, in fact, you can see right here. This is an article back from December 31st, 2020, right at the end of Trump's presidency. Trump's legacy, $8 trillion plus in added debt in one term in 4 years, even though he said he was going to eliminate the federal debt over his presidency. The reality of it is that we have almost never ran a positive even single year. Bill Clinton said he was going to balance the budget, and then he declared that they did it. And even after they actually ran the budget, we were still a little bit negative. But even that 1 year was still really good for them to do it. But even just that 1 year, we almost did. Now, even in the last year here, you can see this article here from last month. The U.S. budget deficit was actually cut in half for the biggest decrease ever. The biggest decrease ever. And the revenue posted for the US government was the highest 1 year total on record. The highest 1 year total on record. But even with that being said, we still have a $1.375 trillion deficit per year. Per year. So this is just the way the government runs. In fact, this actually includes, as you can see here, the deficit decline would have been steeper if it had not been for Biden's student loan forgiveness program, which is somewhere around $300 billion. Some people say it's less, some people say it's a little bit more. So if the student loan forgiveness doesn't actually go through, because it's in the court system and may actually go to the Supreme Court, the budget deficit might only be $1 trillion or somewhere in that range for last year. Here's the thing about this is that, does it really matter if like our budget deficit, our fiscal deficit is 31.6 trillion or 31.3 trillion? Not really. But that student loan forgiveness for 40 million people, that's going to change their lives. The honestly, in 20 more years, the budget deficit is going to be 60 trillion, and when I'm 80 years old, it's going to be like 100 trillion. So the difference between 100 trillion and 97.7 or 99.7 trillion is like nobody's going to even know. Like the government runs a deficit every year, and honestly, almost every other major country in the planet runs deficit as well. It's just how it works. In fact, the U.S. Dollar has actually been strengthening here. I'll show you here. Here's an article from Forbes. Why is the US dollar so strong right now from 2 weeks ago? In fact, the euro, it was actually like a 1-to-1 here, where like, in the past, the euro was like 30% higher than the dollar. So the US dollar has actually gained like 30% in value versus the euro, which is, done by a lot of countries in Europe. one of the other strongest currencies in the world. So remember, all these other countries run deficits. It's just how countries are ran. So again, so this is where like you have to wonder here, like, should we worry if the deficit is 31.5 trillion or 31.4 trillion? Remember, it goes up every year. It's going to be 32 trillion, 33 trillion, 35 trillion, 37 trillion. Back in 1990, it was about 3 trillion. Now it's 31 trillion. It's literally just, I mean, Trump ran it up $8 trillion in 4 years. That was the highest ever in 4 years done by any president in a 4-year span. Whether that's you blame him, right him, wrong him, it costs a lot of money to run the country. And whether Biden breaks that or not, we'll see. We're gonna we're spending. We're spending. And we're probably never, it'll be very difficult for us to even have a single year ever where we have a balanced budget. Remember, we spend about $1 trillion a year, every year, just on the military. Just on the military. So you look at just the tremendous amount of money just on that, it's ridiculous. And then when the government actually says, "Hey, let's help out people with like Social Security or student loan forgiveness or SNAP benefits or anything along, we've had stimulus checks, which literally helped out a lot of people during the pandemic. We've had paycheck protection program. We've had rent assistance, mortgage assistance, utility assistance. We just had $13 billion for utility assistance here in November and December. We had $40 billion of rent assistance from the last stimulus check package. We had $9.9 billion for mortgage assistance. I have links for you guys down below in the description of this video. That's probably still available in most states right now. So if you're low income and maybe behind on any mortgage payments or something like that, that's available here. It depends on your state. I have links. I have a video showing you how to find it in your area. So really there's all sorts of stuff that's like always kind of going on. That's part of my mission here on this YouTube channel, is to keep you guys up to date here on this. Remember that in the past, this year, there's been about 33, maybe a little bit more states that have passed state stimulus checks or inflation relief checks here this year as well. So again, helping out people. So you can kind of go look at it one or two ways. The budget deficit, the budget debt's going to go up anyways. It went from 1990 to 3 trillion to 31 trillion. It's going to go up no matter what. Does that number mean anything to you? Remember, our dollar here is actually strengthened by 30% over the euro. The euro is one of the strongest countries or currencies out there, and it's strengthening against all sorts of currencies right now. The reason is because we've been raising interest rates. That's one of the reasons. You know, all these kind of factors kind of go into things, but the reality of it is that what the government has done from when Trump was president and when Biden was president, with these different programs that help out people directly, like stimulus checks, rent assistance, mortgage assistance, utility assistance, SNAP benefit, bonuses that are going out every single month, that stuff actually helps out people. The budget deficit doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. I mean, people could, I know that some people get all geeked about it and get all worried about it. But at the end of the day, if it goes to 31.5 trillion, 38 trillion, they're going to have to raise it no matter what. They can't not raise it. It goes up every year. And if we don't raise it, our country defaults and it's a collapse of the financial system. Can't do that. So here's the other thing here. President Biden says here, he tweeted this about 12 days ago or so. Republican leaders are saying that if I don't help them cut Social Security and Medicare, then guess what? Here's this actual tweet directly from President Biden. Republican leaders are saying that if I don't help them cut Social Security and Medicare, then guess what? Here's President Biden's actual tweet. Biden says Republican leaders are saying that if I don't help them cut Social Security and Medicare, then guess what? They will wreak havoc on our economy and refuse to raise the debt ceiling. I'm not joking. As my grandkids would say, Google it, because some Republicans have said this, that they would hold the debt ceiling hostage, the negotiations for this, and that they won't allow it to pass if they don't make us fiscally responsible by cutting the deficit, cutting the debt ceiling. And some Republicans have said this, not all of them. Of course, whether or not this will be the hard line or not, we'll see here. Mitch McConnell has actually, because when they needed him in the Senate to get the 60 votes, he actually was pretty reasonable. He did not draw a hard line in the sand and use the debt limit as a negotiating tool, really, and cause a default for us here. Okay, and Trump actually criticized McConnell, saying that you should have done that, and McConnell realized that McConnell can sometimes be, like when he blocked the $2,000 stimulus check. Sometimes he's not really there for the people, but in this particular case he realized that this was a really good thing. You can't let the country default. Okay. But now Kevin McCarthy is going to be in charge of the House. So we will have to see, because Democrats can't pass bills on their own in the House. So they will literally need Kevin McCarthy to pass the debt limit. So there's also been talk, which actually could still be done here this year before Kevin McCarthy becomes leader, potentially, of getting rid of the debt limit. I actually think that would be a good idea. We've actually seen some Republicans say this as well, because if you get rid of the debt limit, it actually makes it so you don't have to go through this every single year, because this high stakes game of chicken, it's just like government shutdowns. How many times have we had government shutdowns? We've had them quite a bit. And sometimes they're extended and they're bad. Well, we can't actually have a government default. It would be like a collapse of our financial system. It would be like the government saying to the world that we can't pay our debts. Like, it literally says on our dollar, the full faith and credit of the United States government. Well, if the U.S. government can't pay its bills, what are we saying to the world? If Social Security payments don't go out because there's no money in the checking account, because the U.S. has gone broke because we didn't raise the debt limit, even if it's just for a day or a week or a month, because Republicans and Democrats can't agree. And again, one side will blame the other. Democrats will blame Republicans. Republicans will blame Democrats. But who will be hurt? The people will be hurt. So it's just like, we can't keep doing this year after year after year. And Trump said, oh, that Mitch McConnell should have really, wrung out the Democrats to dry and used it as a negotiating tool to, like, get something out of it. But the problem is like, they literally, like, it went down to, like, the last day, last time around. Like, how much more can you, like, put it down to the last? I mean, how much closer can you get, right? So, and remember, like, these things got to go through, like, the voting process and stuff, and it's just like, you really can't, like, play with people's lives anymore. So we're gonna have to go through all this again, and it's just like, I hate this, because I just fear, like, they do this with government shutdowns, and what happens? They can't agree, and then, like, oops, well, The government shut down because Republicans and Democrats couldn't agree, and this is what happens. So I'll keep you up to date on here on this. It's just one of the things that Congress has to do, or we all have to deal with. The good news is that they've seemed to have gotten through it every time at this point. So with that being said, let's get to our daily trivia question. So if you've been watching my channel, you know that I'm doing daily trivia questions here up until Thanksgiving, and I'm giving away money to viewers. So the way it works is I'm doing daily trivia questions, and I'm giving people several days here after the trivia question to answer. Then I'm going to go back and pick winners. Okay. After I pick winners, I will contact you in the comment section to, I will heart your comment and also say you are a winner. Okay, I will heart your comment because scammers can't heart the comment, and you'll know it's me because my name will be just It's Jimmy. I won't have a phone number or a text message for you to call. Those are scammers. So be aware of that. If someone says contact me on WhatsApp or Telegram, just know that those are scammers. I don't have a WhatsApp or a Telegram, and I don't want you to text me because I don't have time to, talk to 10,000 people on a phone number. Okay, so just be aware of scammers. Okay, all you need to do to answer this is just leave a comment down below if you think you know the answer. If you answer correctly, you'll be entered into the pool of people who have guessed correctly. And if you answer correctly, you could win. We have a random comment picker that randomly picks and will randomly pick a few people here. And if you're randomly picked, I will comment on your thing and heart you, and then I will get in contact with you. Okay? So today's trivia question is, which professional football team has played almost every Thanksgiving since 1934? Which professional football team has played almost every Thanksgiving since 1934? If you think you know the answer, leave a comment down below. And if you win and you're picked, I will send you $50 to pay for your Thanksgiving turkey. And I'm picking some people for each video. And again, I'm giving several days to go past each video so you have time to answer. And then I kind of go back and pick some people from the comment section. So hope that makes sense. So make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on new videos and new trivia questions. Also click the bell icon down below after you subscribe so you get notifications on your device when we go live, which is every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're not getting notifications, I see some people say that, it's probably because you're not allowing your device to send you notifications. So you might want to go into your settings on your phone or whatever you use and go to YouTube and check the little thing that says allow notifications. Yeah. So also thanks for liking and sharing these videos, and I'll keep you up to date. You can click here to watch my newest video next. And here is another video I just did about big Social Security changes. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.